closet. He didn't want the others to know about me. Un gilet.
That's it, that's it.
For the rollicking, jumping polka.
Oh, hello, George.
No, resta.
I like it now. It's quite pretty.
Now around. That's it. Once more. All right, now the Polonaise.
Oh, can't I rest?
Yes, after dinner. Here we go.
I can't.
You will. Head up, back straight. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Please.
Please concentrate. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2,
My
3.
feet hurt. I can't anymore.
A little rest, perhaps.
There is no time. The waltz, Bertrand. Come on. I'm sure you won't mind doing this. This is the waltz you like so much. The back. With ease, style. Didn't you say the other day it reminded you of something?
Yes, of my first ball.
And your first love, no doubt.
Yes.
Who was he?
I can't remember.
Was he fair or was he dark with a mustache?
I don't know. One day he's fair, the next he's dark. I don't know.
Oh, j'aime la foule, Henri. J'aime la foule.
Je vous accompagne chez vous.
Non, j'aime la foule. Donnez-moi un peu de vin.
Attention, ça monte à la tête.
Ah, ça se boit comme de l'eau. C'est bien meilleur.
Je connais un endroit où il y a le meilleur champagne de Paris.
Où ça?
Chez moi. Vous permettez que je vous y emmène?
Non, restons. J'aime. C'est une soirée merveilleuse. Je n'étais jamais été aussi heureuse.
I'd like to take this opportunity in introducing the winner of the Academy Award last year for the Best Acting Role, Mr. Ernest Borgnine.
Thank you. The nominees for the Best Actress are Carol Baker in Baby Doll, Ingrid Bergman in Anastasia, Katharine Hepburn in The Rainmaker, Nancy Kelly in The Bad Seed, and Deborah Carr in The King and I. The envelope, please. The winner, Ingrid Bergman in Anastasia.
Feeling. Well, it's a privilege to have been asked to be here in case Ingrid won this award. And now that she has, it's a privilege to try to thank her to thank you for her. But alas, I have no way of knowing the exact depth and degree of her emotion when she finally hears the news that she's received it. So, dear Ingrid, if you can hear me now, or if you see this televised film, I want you to know that each of the other nominees and all of the people with whom you worked on, Anastasia and dear Hitch and Leo McCary, and every one of us here tonight and in New York, send you our congratulations, our love, our admiration, and every affectionate thought. Thank you very much.
After the absence of 7 years, she returned to New York to receive an award for Anastasia. Despite the intense questioning by the press, my mother had no apologies.
Miss Bergman, did you have any criticism of the way the press in general handled the story of your life in the past year?
Oh, sure, I had some criticism of it, because I think the person has to have a private life, but I also know that if you choose being an actress, you have to take both sides of the coin. So, there it is.
Looking back on it, do you have any regrets about anything that you've done in the last few years, Miss Bergman?
No, I have no regrets at all. I regret the things I didn't do. Not what I did.
Tell us some of those.
No, I think my life has been wonderful because I have done what I felt like. I was given courage, and I was given a sense of adventure, and that has carried me along. And then also with a sense of humor and a little bit of common sense, it has been a very rich life.
In Paris, my mother's agent, Kay Brown, introduced her to a fellow Swede, Lars Schmidt, a theatrical producer. He was to be her third husband. Another divorce and another custody fight ended with my mother's younger children remaining in Italy with Roberto's family. My mother settled in France with her new husband. Once again, she lived in a different country than her children. It was a wonderful time for my mother, a new marriage and a renewed career, frequently acting in plays and television dramas produced by Lars. There would be profound changes in the years ahead, but her need to act, that would never change.
You couldn't deceive me.
You'd be surprised. Oh, darling. Oh, I'll miss you terribly. I'll walk into a crowded room and someone will be standing the way you stand. He'll hold his head the way you hold your head, the way you hold your knife and fork.
I don't hold my knife and fork in any special way.
Yes, you do. You hold your fork straight up, as a little boy does.
Now, that is in your play.
You see?
Well, you are in a strange mood. What character are you playing now?
Delilah.
Delilah from the Bible? Mm-hmm. I don't see the parallel.
It's my own interpretation.
Well, if I'm going to be destroyed anyway, for heaven's sake, it's going to be that sort of an evening.
Oh, it's only Margaret.
Margaret. That woman loves the telephone. What would she have done 100 years ago?
Hello?
Probably sent carrier pigeons. The skies would have been black with them.
Hello, David.
Philip! My sweet Philip, your letter was too sad and more than I deserve. I miss you. Come back soon.
I didn't mean it that way. I was tired and unhappy and lonely. And, oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have written it.
But you meant it?
I suppose so. Then.
Has anything changed since then?
No. Nothing has changed.
Well.
De vuelta a Mónaco, retoma el papel que ha estado interpretando desde su boda. Solo sus amigos más íntimos intuyen las dudas que la asaltan a veces con los años.
Grace fue feliz en Mónaco durante muchos años. Le gustaba la vida que tenía allí, pero luego sus hijos se hicieron mayores y empezó una nueva etapa en su vida. Le notaba una especie de nostalgia por algo que había perdido.
La verdad es que su vida no era ningún cuento de hadas. Y no quería que nadie lo viera así. En su matrimonio, igual que en el mío, igual que en todos los matrimonios, estoy segura de que pasó por momentos de rabia y de frustración. Y todas las emociones posibles.
Sobre todo, nadie ignora en Mónaco que a veces echa de menos la atmósfera de los platós de cine. Vuelve periódicamente a Hollywood para ver a sus antiguos amigos, entre ellos Cary Grant y Alfred Hitchcock. En 1962, Hitchcock le propone trabajar con él en su película Marnie la ladrona, pero tiene que rechazar el papel ante la negativa de los monegascos.
Lamentaba no haber podido salir en esa película, pero creo que se dio cuenta rápidamente de que no era demasiado compatible con el papel que desempeñaba aquí, con sus responsabilidades.
Creo que Hollywood nunca la dejó. Creo que lo llevaba en la sangre. Era su vida.
Welcome back, Judge. Now I'm going to shoot you.
Don't aim at me
That's
like
what
that.
you get for sneaking in the back way.
Have you gone completely mad?
Good heavens, I didn't hit you by any way.
We should stop all this nonsense.
Come along, Judge. I'll let you pass. Come along. Come along. Oh.
Still playing about with pistols. What are you shooting at?
Just killing time, shooting up into the sky.
You know, girls are so funny. Do you know what I thought when I was in your arms? In a man's arms for the first time in my life. I thought I'd better pretend not to enjoy this so much. Or he'll never believe that he's the first. It was important for me that you knew you were the first.
It's very hard sometimes to find words to say what is in one's heart.
Dear Mr. Davidge, it's always impossible, and therefore far better never to try.
You have a very generous spirit. And that is not the least of the things I've found out about you during the last 24 hours.
No sentimental gush, please.
No sentimental gush.
Well, now I intend to go to sleep, and then at dawn we start out for those villages. Collect all your men, and you can start winning your war. So until then, good night. We're behaving very foolishly, both of us.
That's so wrong.
illuminate, mi illudo di vedermi sotto la luce intensa e gioiosa dei lampadari. E mi sento ridere felice. E intorno tutti mi sorridono e mi rivolgono i loro più bei complimenti. Pavimenti brillanti, soffici tappeti persiani e mobili stupendi e ninnoli preziosi. Qualcuno suona un valzer lento e un altro si avvicina a me per invitarmi. E tutto intorno gira, 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 e la mia testa...
Matilde.
Tu pronunci il mio nome e tutto si oscura.
Look, why don't you come to our table? This party's on me.
What do you think of him?
Ask me later.
It's strange to see you in a nightclub. I didn't realize you was such a swinger.
Oh, you never really knew me, my dear.
Can we have some more glasses over here, please?
Julian thinks of me as a homebody because of all the years I was trapped by the children.
Of course. By the way, Mr. Greenfield.
Yes?
How do you like children?
Barbecue.
That's the kind of joke made by a man who was trying to hide his feelings. Deep down, I know you really love children.
Huh?
Deep down.
Oh, yeah. Well, deep down, yes. Yes, well, especially yours. I'm nuts about them.
Mr. Greenfield, what kind of work do you do?
Oh, I don't work for a living, honey. I'm an actor.
Why don't you pour the wine?
An actor? Isn't that a very insecure profession?
Only financially. That's quite a girl you got there, Julian. I hear it's going to happen very soon between you two.
As soon as we can make it.
Julian, I hardly think this is the moment.
Oh, come on now, Tony. We have nothing to hide from these people.
Yeah, it's all in the family. Stephanie and I have nothing to hide from each other either.
Oh, please change the subject.
Look at her blushing, isn't she?
Really hard.
She acts kind of cold in public, but when we're alone together, oh boy. Well, I forgot, you know her as well as I do. She's absolutely...
Let's all have another drink.
Yeah, the party's dying.
Oh, there you are, Harvey. I saw him late, honey. Hello, everybody.
Soon she will be loved. It's written deep within her fate. And every generation gone will gather round to celebrate. From mouth to mouth will come the words, ear to ear and face to face. From their hands down into hers, an inheritance of grace. She will raise the windows high, let the light come streaming in. And though the wind will burn her eyes, she will learn to breathe again.
Los niños crecían. Habían heredado la belleza luminosa de su madre, el vigor de su padre y los valores compartidos por los Kelly y los Grimaldi. Todavía eran ajenos a las preocupaciones y Grace filmaba sus juegos de adolescentes. No quería avisarles de que a partir de ahora se iniciaba la cuenta atrás. Muy diferentes en sus comportamientos. Los tres eran abiertos, positivos, sociables, preparados para la vida. Pero apellidarse Grimaldi no significa que la vida siempre te vaya a sonreír. Rainiero desempeñó un papel muy importante en la educación de sus hijos, pero era el primero en reconocer que no lo habría conseguido sin Grace, sin su dulce obstinación, sin su absoluta franqueza, sin su voluntad de superación personal. Una familia no se dirige como un estado, y Grace nunca dudó en recordárselo. Y por último, los niños nunca lo temieron ni siquiera cuando se enfadaba. Se han escrito y se han dicho muchas cosas. ¿Qué pareja no tiene algunos momentos de hastío? Grace y Rainiero nunca se separaron en lo esencial, y la alegría y el placer de estar juntos volvía al instante cuando se escapaban con sus hijos de las obligaciones de la vida oficial. Esto es lo que dicen las películas de Grace. No olvidéis que vuestro padre y yo nos sentimos muy dichosos de teneros con nosotros. Basta con mirarnos para entender que nos seguimos queriendo. Y sin embargo, Grace nunca se libró de la compañera exigente que le perseguía desde su infancia, la melancolía. Ni el cine, ni Mónaco bastaron para que superase las penas de otro tiempo, que tanto le costaba explicar y más aún confesar.
¿Es feliz? He tenido muchos momentos felices en mi vida, pero yo creo que nadie puede vivir en un estado permanente de felicidad. La vida no es así. Creo que tengo el alma en paz. Mis hijos me aportan mucha felicidad. Y mi vida aquí me da muchas satisfacciones.
Solo sus hijos y el amor que compartía con ellos le habían proporcionado cierta autoestima, aunque nunca parecía estar totalmente segura. Pero pronto tendría que vivir sin ellos. Además, estaban tan seguros de ella que por su juventud no se daban cuenta de sus ataques de angustia cuando jugaban con su padre. A veces la imagen tiembla un poco. Grace nunca habría confesado a sus hijos que a veces se sentía triste y sola. Aunque le costaba mucho disimularlo, era muy púdica para desahogarse de este modo. Temía que se sintieran culpables y, lo que es peor, que pensaran que le hacía reproches a su padre.
What's your name, boy?
Jamie Kincaid.
Speak up. You don't have to. I know the answer.
How do you know about us? Did you call the police?
From the newspapers, not the police. Now, both of you, sit down over there and talk about the Italian Renaissance.
We're in the newspapers?
For days now. Even your pictures.
That's my school picture from the first grade. Let me see. I haven't had a decent picture taken of me since I've been able to walk. Is your butler calling the police while you stall us here?
Enough. I refuse to keep reassuring you. And if you go on with this kind of talk, I shall find you so dull, I shall call your parents as well as the police to get rid of you. Is that clear?
Please don't yell at him. He's only a little boy.
The tag, Fröken Olsen.
Nej, talar ni svenska?
Alas, mademoiselle, that is the extent of my Swedish. Forgive me if I am personal, but most Scandinavians of my acquaintance are well educated in other languages. And yet you have difficulty...
I was born backwards.
Oh.
That is why I work in Africa as missionary, teaching little brown babies more backward than myself.
But I see that you have spent 3 months in America. Were you not able to improve?
I was an international group for getting money for African mission from American rich. I speak Swedish to big audiences in Swedish American institution in Minneapolis and other big cities.
After 12 years together, Lars Schmidt and my mother were divorced as a result of a relationship he had with another woman. But Mama remained friends with Lars until her death, much as she had remained friends with Roberto until his death. She knew how to forgive, and I admired her for it. In the early 70s, my mother moved to a flat in London. For the first time in her life, she lived alone. My mother still got movie roles, though some were too far from the image she did best. Mama was in her early 60s when she learned she had breast cancer. I remember it very well because we'd been out riding a bike with my youngest son when she told me. And the doctor told her to go right into the hospital. But she had plans. So she didn't do that. She went on with her plans because she had that, she heard her voices that told her what to do, and she did pretty well what she wanted to do. She finally went to a doctor in England, and they performed the surgery there, her first surgery. We all went to see her in Paris after the surgery, my half-brothers and sisters, and we stayed with her for a while, and she was in really wonderful humor. She didn't tell a lot of people. She was very brave about it. And she said, well, we'll just go on, we'll just go on. And she did.
Se había desvivido para encarrilar Mónaco junto a su marido. Pero, ¿y ahora qué?
No recuerdo que le dijesen nunca a Rainiero, ¿de verdad tenemos que hacer esto? Pero sí que se lo tomaba un poco como un papel. Aprendió a sonreír cuando tocaba. Era como si le diera a un interruptor.
Cuando te dedicas a la interpretación, te gusta saltar de un personaje a otro. Un día quieres ser una asesina o una ladrona y al siguiente una heroína, pero en Mónaco interpretaba siempre el mismo papel.
Como siempre, va a dar un giro a su vida. Y ese giro pasa por París, donde se instala para seguir los estudios de su hija, Carolina. Allí se codea con jóvenes actores de vanguardia que la animan a participar en sus documentales y recitar textos de Shakespeare en Europa y en los Estados Unidos. Entre ellos está Robert Donhelm, un joven cineasta austriaco, izquierdista y provocador.
Esto es un bonito retrato que le hice. Le encantaba comer en restaurantes baratos. Aquí está comprando unas cebollas.
Never said things like that. She just went on. This train keeps going. When the Swedish director Ingrid Bergman and my mother, when they made Autumn Sonata together, the two of them put together their family histories, so to speak. And they made a story about a woman who has a talent, a great talent. And the crisis in this woman's life is whether or not to use her art, fulfill her God-given gift, or stay home and take care of her child.
Kjæreste lille Eva.
Det er alt du sier.
Nei, jeg ble bare så rørt.
A finales de los 70, la habitualmente elegante Grace fue fotografiada en alguna ocasión desaliñada y con algunos kilos de más. Su aspecto durante aquella época desató rumores de que bebía en exceso. También pasaba cada vez más tiempo alejada de Mónaco. Alquiló incluso un piso en París para no perder de vista a Carolina, que estudiaba allí. Cuando estaba fuera, a Grace no le faltaba compañía. Crecieron los rumores de que mantenía un romance no solo con Robert Dorhelm, sino con diversos jóvenes a los que llamaba amigos.
Claro que le gustaba la compañía de hombres jóvenes, como cuando conoció a Robert Dorhelm, un joven divertido que hablaba su mismo idioma y con quien podía charlar de libros, arte, ballet.
Pero la principal preocupación de Grace entonces eran sus hijos ya mayores. Estefanía era salvaje y testaruda.
Carolina se marchó. Era ley de vida. Grace había hecho lo mismo a su edad, pero ya solo le quedaba esperar el momento en el que las hijas se acercan a las madres cuando se borran las rupturas de la juventud. En el fondo, todo eso no era tan grave. Grace pasaba mucho tiempo en Rockagel, inmersa en sus collages de flores. Decían sencillamente que no había renunciado a lo que fue la búsqueda y la razón de su vida. Las flores que se olvidan se marchitan. Las que se cuidan renacen cada temporada. ¿Quién podía imaginar lo que iba a suceder? Aquel horrible golpe del destino que iba a destrozarles a todos. A veces sentían un poco de miedo por ella, pero era difícil decirlo. Ella disipaba cualquier preocupación riendo y encendiendo su cámara.
La vida de Grace estaba mejorando. Pero padecía problemas físicos, se quejaba de dolores de cabeza. 1982 había comenzado bastante bien para Grace. Rainiero y ella habían capeado el temporal de sus primeros años de matrimonio y, rodeados de sus hijos, habían celebrado recientemente sus bodas de plata. La principal preocupación de Grace aquel verano era Estefanía. Matriculada en una universidad de París aquel otoño, había anunciado que prefería asistir con su novio a una escuela de conducción de coches de carreras. Disgustada y exhausta, Grace se quejaba además de no sentirse bien.
Me telefoneó y parecía cansada. Le dije, ¿qué te ocurre? Y me contestó, tengo unos horribles dolores de cabeza y no sé por qué.
Las paradojas de una mujer con muchas facetas. Feliz en sus contradicciones. Realizada en sus vidas paralelas. Esta es su última película. En el verano de 1982, parte de crucero con su familia por el norte de Europa. Siempre cámara en mano. Tiene 52 años.
A few years later, Mama had a second mastectomy. In addition, her arm became immensely swollen, which can sometimes happen with the removal of lymph nodes. So she wore her arm in a sling and called it jokingly my dog she had to carry.
Once she knew she had cancer, I think she decided pretty much on her own how much chemotherapy she was going to take, how much she was going to go forward with medicine that were going to debilitate her. And she was, in her shy, simple way, she was very determined, and I've always respected her for it. And When she was asked to do Golda, I remember she laughed and she said, how can a big, tall Protestant Swede can play a small Jewish prime minister? And then Golda died of the same disease of mother, breast cancer. And she read a few things she did. Golda was so far from my mother, this woman of politics, this woman of great intellect, this woman sure of herself, calm, a leader. My mother was timid, frightened, strong somewhere, but nothing shows. And then she played Golda with the gravity that this fantastic lady exuded. She just had a wig. She didn't put any false nose. She did it just by exuding something that was inside of her. She would wake up 2 hours before going to work, and she would put the arm up so that it would unswell somewhat. And she was able to move a little bit the hand, that she would stay hours in the middle of the desert as waiting for lights and makeup to be done with her arm up, then to quickly do the scenes and then hang her arm again.
Ladies and gentlemen, Golda Meir.
Well, if I'm supposed to be the mother of Israel, Earth Mother, or whatever kind of mother, I have the responsibility to be a good one. And what a good mother would say to you now is, it's late, everybody's tired, go home. Mr. President, I'll say good night.
Good night, dear lady. I hope we see each other again soon.
I'm glad you came.
I'm glad too. Very glad I came.
So, let me ask, what took you so long?
And the winner is Ingrid Bergman for A Woman Called Olga. Accepting for Ingrid Bergman is Tia Lindstrom.
I know you applaud and stand in her memory as well as for her performance, and I thank you. I really do think she deserved this award, although I know the competition was very strong. I think she deserved this award not only for her performance on camera, but for her performance off camera. As many of you know, she was very ill during the filming of Golda Meir, and I think that she showed the same courage and determination and dignity that Golda did. Perhaps even by playing the part of Golda Meir, my mother was able to augment her courage, which she certainly was to need. When she first told some of those of us in her family that she was thinking of playing the part of Golda Meir, there were those of us who said, "Oh, come on, Mom, Golda Meir, I mean, who's going to believe you?" You know, there were other people who said, "Listen, you better not go to Israel because it's dangerous and you're not well and it could be tough for you out there on location." And fortunately, she didn't listen to any of us. Once she could see that she could look like Golda Meir with the help of the makeup artist, I believe she really understood Golda the woman. There were parallels in their lives, and somewhere their psychologies meshed, and I think that's what you see in her performance on screen. The other thing is, because it was so difficult for her to do this part, it's an example to me that something very fine can come out of the most arduous circumstances. I know that she would be very proud of this award tonight because of what it meant to her to film it. And I'm very grateful to be here to be able to thank each and every one of you for this final tribute to my mother. She will live in my heart forever. Thank you.
¡Qué horror, qué horror, qué horror!
El drama se produce el 13 de septiembre de 1982.
Era un coche con cambio automático y tuve el reflejo de ponerlo en posición de parking y echar el freno de mano. Pero claro, cuando echas el freno de mano no paras el coche. Fue un acto reflejo. Algo tenía que hacer, así que hice lo único que podía hacer, no sé. Y lo único que me dijo, en inglés, fue I'm sorry. Perdón.
Baby's got blue eyes.